everyone, my name is Mallory McDonald, and today we are going to be going over my first set of book critiques for EDU 318 Children's Lit. So the first book in our set is Last Stop on Market Street, and it was written by Matt De La Pena, and the pictures were by Christian Robinson. This book won the Newbery Award and also has a Caldecott honor. It is my multicultural selection for this set, and I feel like it's appropriate for preschoolers through first grade. I really enjoyed this story because it had a lot of different representation of different genders, races, and even different abilities shown throughout the illustrations done by Christian Robinson. So the second book in our set is titled Parrots Over Puerto Rico, and it was written by Cindy Trumbore and also Susan Roth. The illustrations in this book were also very stunning, and I enjoyed taking my time to look at all of them on every single page. So this is actually an informational text, and it won the Cybera Medal, and I feel like this would be good for 2nd through 5th graders. And I also enjoyed that this story isn't just about parrots, but it also gives you some history about Puerto Rico as well. The third book in this set is titled Wolf in the Snow, and it was by Matthew Cordell. So this won the Caldecott Award, and it's also a wordless picture book that I really enjoyed because you have to analyze all the illustrations to really comprehend the story and what's going on. I feel like this would be a good story for preschool through first graders as well. The next book that I chose is titled I Talk Like a River, and it's by Jordan Scott, and it was illustrated by Sydney Smith. Now this won the Schneider Family Book Award, and it's actually an autobiography about the author when he was a kid having to overcome his stutter. I feel like this would be good for kindergarten to 3rd grade to really share about different people and to celebrate our differences. So the 5th book in my set is titled Owl Moon, and it was written by Jane Yolen, and it was illustrated by John Schoenherr. It won the Caldecott Award, and it's also a realistic fiction book, and I feel like the pictures in this story really add so much to it and really gives you the vivid imagery of it being told through the eyes of the child instead of it being in 3rd person. I feel like this would be good to share with kindergarten through 2nd graders. So the next book that we have is Where the Wild Things Are by Maurice Sendak, and it won the Caldecott Award, and it's also a modern fantasy. I really enjoyed this book because they brought the main character's imagination to life and really gives us adults insight on what kids imagine or see when they're playing make-believe. I feel like this is a good story to share with 1st through 3rd graders. The 7th book in our set is Stregononia by Tommy De Paola. It won the Caldecott Award, and it's also traditional literature. I feel like this is a great classic tale for students with Italian heritage to read, and it's also a really fun story, so I feel like many kids will get a kick out of what happens. I feel like this would be good for 1st through 3rd graders because they can really enjoy what's happening and sing along to the Pasta Pot song as well. Now we have our final and feature text, which is titled The Gardener, and this was wrote by Sarah Stewart and illustrated by David Small. It won the Caldecott Award, and it is considered historical fiction because it is set in the 1930s. I really enjoyed this book because of the story that it created. It really included a couple unique elements, especially telling the story through letters instead of dialogue. It also has lots of different interdisciplinary connections that can be used across many different subjects to really build upon children's schema and make connections. I feel like this book would be appropriate for preschool through 2nd graders because it's a cute story, and also once you get past 2nd grade, I feel like the story might become a little bit boring because students are used to reading chapter books instead. So here we have our summary of The Gardener. So the young girl in the story is forced to move from her family's farm to the city with her uncle because her father lost his job. When she arrives, she helps her uncle in his bakery and plants flowers in the window boxes, which attracts so many customers. So while she's there, the young girl plans a surprise for her uncle in a secret place, and the whole time he never smiles. So she's doing this in hopes of finally seeing him smile before she has to leave. So before the girl has to leave, her uncle actually surprises her with a cake covered in flowers, and in return, she surprises him with the rooftop garden before she returns home, and she finally gets to see him smile. So the first lesson plan is based on the first grade science standard that living things can only survive in environments that meet their needs. So for the activity, students will perform a science experiment by growing plants in different places to see how it affects their growth. So for example, one plant will be grown in complete darkness and the other one will be grown right next to the window. And you can obviously put in other factors as well to see how this affects their thriving. So my next lesson is based on the first grade history standard that photographs, letters, and artifacts and books can be used to learn about the past. So students will write letters to their future selves and give details about their life now, and they can also include a picture of themselves at the bottom, and they will do this through a collaborative Google Doc. So here we have the artifact for that lesson plan, and it is based on what I would have wrote to myself in first grade. So I gave details about where I went to school, how old I was, where I lived, who was in my family, and what my favorite things were. So obviously I wrote it in a letter format, and I included a picture of myself at the bottom. So that concludes my first book critique set, and I'm so thankful for you watching and letting me share my ideas with you.